The Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, The Prestige, Dunkirk, Inception, all considered some of the greatest films produced in the past decade. These are not only critically acclaimed movies, but they have also attained the admiration of actual audiences. These blockbusters were highly anticipated for months before they were released because of one thing: Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan is a distinguished film producer and director who currently resides in London. Nolan often produces movies with his wife, Emily, and his brother, Jonathan. He originated in 1998, producing the film The Following, followed by Memento and Insomnia. This is the first stretch of his career where these minor films had a great success. In the next era, however, he truly began to emerge as a talented producer. He produced Batman Begins and The Prestige, each of these movies being awarded multiple times. And finally, he emerged after 2008 in the production of The Dark Knight, Inception, The Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, and Dunkirk. These movies are widely considered some of the greatest films produced recently and have been awarded as the top films on IMDb. According to IMDb, all 10 of his movies have grossed over $4.7 billion. Nolan has a very particular style. He is a purist. He believes that his films should be produced with film, not video or digital video. He prefers to use as little CGI as possible. An article created by Jeffrey Resner on The Traditionalist, Nolan was quoted saying that he believes film is more reliable and prefers to use a single camera for dramatic scenes so they can see every frame that enters the final movie. Nolan prefers to create as many scenes on site as possible rather than producing them in the studio. He uses camera angles to produce his scene contortions and builds sets in order to prevent CGI. These sets include the optical illusion of the Penrose staircase in Inception, as well as the rotating hallway. However, when Nolan does use CGI, it is truly astonishing. As stated by Terrence Russell in Wired, compared to the 1500 to 2000 VFX shots, Nolan usually only uses 500 to 750. From the docking scene and the centrifuge scene in Interstellar to the massive abandoned cities in Inception, these scenes are truly unforgettable and stick with audiences for a long period of time. Nolan prefers to use a particular set of actors in his films. He has used Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Marion Cotillard, Christian Bale, and Michael Caine in multiple of his movies. Specifically Michael Caine, who has been in all of his movies after 2005 except one. He considers him his good luck charm. Nolan, after the Batman Begins, began using Hans Zimmer for all of his music in his films. Through Zimmer, Nolan prefers to use shepherd's tones, which are seemingly endless phrases of sound that constantly build suspense. Nolan prefers to use specific themes in his films. The distortion of time is mainly shown throughout all of his films. He usually does non-linear storytelling or long periods of time to emphasize the distortion of reality. The audience faces a similar confusion because of the non-reliable view. For instance, in Inception, we never know if the main character is dreaming, and in Memento, we are unaware of the sequences occurring. Because of this struggle of reality, his characters often struggle with their identity, and that is usually the main conflict in his film. For instance, in Inception, Nolan uses Cobb to help figure out how he wants to return home. In Memento, the man is trying to figure out what is wrong with his thoughts and how he can fix it. In Batman, he shows Christian Bale's internal struggle to figure out what he wants to do and whether or not he should do it. Overall, Nolan is a masterful, unique filmmaker who continues to have great success with his works.